Hi, this is the Animedesu channel, don't forget to subscribe. This anime is set in an American country where music is considered very dangerous, because music will attract a vicious monster called D2. The beginning occurred when the world was bombarded by meteors carrying D2 from outer space, so slowly D2 almost took over half the world. To defeat D2, a conductor was created to control music art under the auspices of the Symphonica organization. A conductor is the term for a person who leads a musical performance and is a musical partner. However, there are side effects for a conductor if he uses music art too much. The story centers on a young man named Asahina Takt. Takt is a musician whose father is also a symphonic professional who is known to many people. But 10 years ago, Takt lost his father at a Symphonica festival performance in Boston. From that incident, Takt lived alone and was raised by his father's niece Anna and his younger sister Cosette. Takt and Cosette don't get along a little, and he insinuates that Takt only spends his time every day, just at home playing the piano. But as time goes by, Takt begins to accept Cosette's existence. At first he didn't accept it because Cosette understood the music he was playing. That was because it turned out that Cosette could also play the piano. Then Cosette invited Takt to perform at a festival around their house. At first, Takt refused, but he was forced to come to the place, because Takt knew that Cosette played quite a difficult song. To match Cosette's performance, Takt and joined together, and everyone was happy with their piano playing. However, not long after, a large explosion was heard at that place and the appearance of D2. As a result of the explosion, Takt's hand was seriously injured and Cosette died at the scene. Then from her body Cosette emerged as a musical artist, then entered into a contract with Takt as her conductor. As payment, he will snatch Takt's soul and take over Cosette's body, after which he gives himself the name Unmei. A senior conductor named Lenny, and a music artist named Titan, they feel responsible for guiding Takt and also Unmei to become real conductors. This is because the rise of Unmei as a music art is considered unnatural, because there is no interference from the Symphonica laboratory. Lenny then explained that in the past, even though he had succeeded in repelling D2, for some reason D2 suddenly appeared in the city center which caused Takt and Cosette to be attacked. Cosette's current condition really makes Anna sad, and she has to accept the fate that Cosette is gone. And now there is only Unmei in Cosette's body. Plus Unmei's attitude is very stiff and all she can think about is wanting to eradicate D2. Unmei considers her music art to be very unique, namely her armor will be active when she is only in fighting mode. There is a kind of abnormality that Unmei cannot control, namely the energy in her body that can make her disappear, so she has to be handled by Symphonica. Coincidentally, Anna's older sister, Lot, is a researcher at Symphonica in the New York area. Anna, Takt, and Unmei decided to go to New York. Of course, they knew the consequences of meeting D2. In the middle of the desert, their car was damaged. Fortunately, not far from that place, they met the International Symphonica Organization, which had taken the meteor to a headquarters, and the route was also in the same direction as their destination. He was the commander of the Symphonica, who was also a conductor named Schindler. Anna and the others then hitch a ride, and while on the way D2 appears, Takt and Unmei then defeat them with their strength. This made the head commander interested and wanted to make Takt his subordinate, but Takt refused and didn't want to be associated with any guild. However, this made Schindler angry, and he vowed to take revenge for Takt's actions. Plus he found out that Takt was an unofficial conductor and was not registered with the Symphonica organization. After arriving at their destination, Takt and the others then parted ways with Schindler. In the next city, they stopped in a quiet town and shopped for food for the trip later. In that city, Takt accidentally found a cafe where he was secretly listening to music. After chatting for a long time, the whole cafe realized that Takt was the son of the famous musician, Kenji Asahina. Takt thought they would hate his father, because he was the mastermind who enlivened the festival that led to the emergence of D2. However, his suspicions were wrong. It turned out that there was a member of the music team who really admired his father. To lighten the mood and bring the Ashina family's music back to life, Takt then presented his playing to the cafe visitors. As a thank you, they then gave him a piano book and hoped that his work would be translated into music. On the other hand, Schindler intends to destroy Takt for embarrassing him. However, his wish was prevented by a grandmaster maestro named Sagan. He was very interested in the genius of Takt. and Sagan told him not to touch Takt because it was very valuable, even more than Schlinder, and it turned out that Sagan had just found out that Asahina's family, namely Takt, was still alive. Hearing this, Schlinder became even more determined to destroy Takt, because he had been compared by his own grandmaster. On the other hand, since he didn't get the book, he stayed up all night and still hasn't found inspiration for his music. Unmai little by little has feelings, and he understands how to joke. Even now he realizes that Anna no longer calls him Cosette. Unmai wonders how important Cosette is to Anna's life, and also Takt. The scene then shifts to Lenny. He gets news that there is something dangerous, which is where Takt is currently going. And sure enough, D2 on a large scale gathered at that place, and it turned out that the mastermind behind all this was Schlinder.
Yes, maestro.
By using his Musicart, he can summon D2 to attack Takt. He reveals that humans are fed up with housing billions of people, so he has the ambition to eliminate half of humans who are useless. That way he will make himself a hero because of his great services. A surprising fact was then revealed. Schlinder was the perpetrator of the incident when Cosette was killed, and Takt had to be willing to lose one of his arms. Knowing that fact, Takt's anger couldn't subside, so this great fight occurred. However, Schlinder won the fight because his Musicart was very strong, so it made Takt seriously injured and Unmai ran to save him. Musicart Schlinder wants to pursue and refuses Schlinder's orders because he doesn't think it's fun to kill people who are dying. As a result of the wound he received, Takt experienced a fever, and Unmai cared for Takt with all his heart. Anna, who was not near Takt and Unmai, then Lenny finally arrived and met Anna and explained everything that had happened. Here, Anna hopes that Takt and Unmai will be safe, and she promises to accept Unmai in her current condition without forcing herself to become Cosette. The next day, when Unmai was taking care of Takt in the cave, Unmai felt the presence of Musicart Schlinder, and then the fight started again with Takt's body still injured. After fighting for quite a long time, not long afterward Musicart appeared from Sagan informing him that Schlinder had been fired from his position and his conductor status had been revoked because he had gone against the Grandmaster's orders. After that they both went home and were greeted warmly by Anna. Long story short, they arrived in New York City and were immediately taken by Lot to the Symphony Laboratory to tune Unmai, so that when she was in armor mode she wouldn't absorb Takt's soul. When he first became Unmai's maestro, Takt experienced some kind of burns from his hands to his neck, as if his body couldn't withstand Unmai's power. After the research had been completed, Lot explained that Takt and Unmai could not be separated as conductors and music artists because Unmai and Takt's souls were one unit. If Unmai had not absorbed Takt's soul at that time, then he would have died, and Takt also benefited from becoming conductor, one of which is his hand, which is recovering, which means they need each other. But the bad news is that if it is not handled, over time they will both disappear due to running out of energy if they continue to want to become a conductor and music artist. The scene then shifts to dusk. Unmai suddenly feels a sound coming from the ground which seems like someone is deliberately trying to lure D2 in the city center. Lenny had realized it earlier, and he was already on his way to meet Takt and the others. While chatting, Sagan, who was the top boss, suddenly appeared in front of them. It turns out that Sagan was the mastermind behind all of this. He was the one who was calling D2, including the appearance of D2 in the city of Boston, which caused the death of Takt's father. Hearing this, Takt was very angry and fought against Sagan with his Musicart. As additional information, it turned out that Schlinder's Musicart belonged to Sagan. Then Lenny said that he was a student of Takt's father Kenji Asahina. He really admired his teacher, but unfortunately he had to be willing to lose his teacher right before his eyes, which turned out to be the result of Sagan's actions, even though Lenny already suspected that Sagan had something to do with the incident in Boston. Long story short, Takt's strength is currently unable to fight Sagan, so Lenny has to help him, and he uses his body as a shield which causes him to be seriously injured. Not remaining silent, then Lenny mobilized all his strength and Titan went into fighting mode. But unfortunately the attack was still not enough to defeat Sagan, and Sagan then withdrew because the police had almost arrived at the scene. On the other hand, Lenny is dying and lying weak, and Takt is angry at his actions, but Lenny says that he doesn't want to lose someone precious to him. Before the seconds of his death, Takt said that he would pour everything he experienced into the song he created, and Lenny was one of the parts that would become Takt's musical harmony. And this time Takt had admitted that Lenny was considered his teacher. Then Lenny died with a smile happy. The scene then moves to the Symphonica headquarters. Lot, accompanied by Anna, continues to try to carry out research so she can cure Takt and Unmai. Suddenly the Symphonica building shook and released crystals, and accompanied by the appearance of the D2, which turned out to be Sagan's offering of his own body. The entire population of New York City panics, while Takt and Unmai go to save Anna. On the other hand, Titan was also there because he wanted to sort out everything related to Sagan. Long story short, they found Anna and Lot who were trapped there, and they also met Valkyrie who had protected Anna and Lot. Here Takt's condition has gotten worse because he uses his Musicart too often. Even his right hand doesn't recover when Unmai is not in fighting mode. Here Takt asked them all to leave this place and take Lot to a safe place, while he and Lot would continue their journey and look for the source of the crystal. Anna had refused and didn't want to go because she was afraid that Takt wouldn't survive, but this was Takt's wish, so Anna complied. Before leaving, Anna gives Takt a kiss. Long story short, they met Sagan's Heaven and Hell Musicart. Then the two of them united and turned into a creature called Orpheus. Here Unmai will fight him, while Takt continues his journey to find Sagan. Takt found Sagan and found out what Sagan's goal was all this time. It turned out that he intended to collect D2 at one point, namely New York City. After that he will destroy D2 and the residents of this city. Then Takt lectures him that this action is very uncharacteristic of a conductor. On the other hand, Unmai managed to defeat Orpheus and catch up with Takt. With his condition weakened, Takt finally succeeded in defeating Sagan and ending his life. Then the scene is shown before the building is destroyed. Then they manage to escape and are stranded on the beach. The two of them chatted and Takt sang the song he had completed. Their condition weakened until Takt closed his eyes and fell unconscious. Meanwhile, Unmai had also weakened. Before that he had time to kiss Takt and express his feelings that he liked Takt. Then Unmai disappeared and turned into a necklace. The scene then changes. 2 months have passed and Takt still hasn't woken up from his sleep. Meanwhile, Anna is now a Symphonica and wears the necklace, so she can feel the souls of Cosette and Unmai. And Anna will continue their dream, namely accompanying Takt to bring music to life in this world. What do you think about this anime? Please comment below this video. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel.